stay in your seat. There's something about that drum that agrees with you and your nature. But dear brothers and sisters, I want to be with you just for a few moments because your dad told me don't be long. So don't pull me down for too long, cut the mic off. But the topic and the word for today, and I don't know why she gave me the biggest one, that I've been practicing all day. So help me on this, brothers and sisters. Kuji Tajiri. Dear brothers and sisters, that means so much in so many directions, in so many different ways. And just as a point of reference, I wanted to break it down just a little bit so that we can really understand what Brother Karangi was attempting to do with us. And I'm so glad, I'm so happy that he enjoyed us in this process. Because see, this process is not a process of an overwhelming event. This is a process that we will have to go through and begin to teach generations after generation after generation. I'm so glad it's not commercialized. I'm so glad you can't get a Panara belts. I'm so glad you can't go to Walmart and do your thing and get on the list and order online for this type of spiritual upliftment. But just being very brief, brothers and sisters, some of the elements of self-determination. One element would be self-respect. I'm so glad that we're dealing with the process of coming and being with one another every night because sometimes we want a quick fix. And now this process will enjoin us in patience. It will also enjoin us with humility. Because neither one of these principles are more important than the other. Just like our gifts. No one other's gift is more important than your gift. So as I began to talk about self-respect, as my little sister read in her poem, no one can define you but you. But how can you define yourself if you don't first respect yourself? As descendants of Africans, we know that we look a little different than everyone else. It was a blessing. Because of the arid heat of Africa, God saw fit to give us a little kinkier hair so that we would serve as a condensing unit. So that as water began to distribute itself, it would go in our kinky hair and begin to cool our bodies. He gave us broad noses so that we could get the air in our noses as we're running the desert and running the jungles, as we're running to communicate with one another. So as we are dealing with self-respect, love how God made you. Respect what God made you and how He made you. If He made you 7 feet tall, respect it. Love it. Embrace it. Feel it. If He made you fair-skinned than other black people, then don't judge that. Because it is not the cover, but the detail of the book that makes you interesting. See, it is not how you feel or what you see about yourself, as I just said, but what do you feel about yourself? See, self-determination blossoms from self-respect. If you don't have self-respect, you cannot be determined to do anything else. Self-motivation. What motivates you? Does money motivate you? Does fame motivate you? What motivates you? Excellence should be your motivation. As I see so many young people today, you'll be given excuses why you can't succeed. You'll say, people will begin to judge you not for your potential, but they'll sometimes judge you for your circumstances. So find your motivation. Why are you motivated to be the best that you can be? It is for that God will be able to receive the glory from the life that He created. Self-assurance. Self-assurance, brothers and sisters, teeters a little bit because sometimes when we are too self-assured, we get arrogant. Sometimes we get haughty and we begin to think more of ourselves than we actually should. But self-assurance is a very strong blend of humility and preparation. If you are humble, understanding that God created you from his image and after his likeness, he breathed into you his breath, then who can better that than you be created from the Creator himself? Prepare yourself. As we are listening on our technology is taking us in a bunch of different directions. But prepare yourself every day that you're living for the road that you're traveling. If you want to be a doctor, study medicine every day. If you want to be a lawyer, read something of your text every day. If you want to be a good mechanic, understand the new technology and tools that are coming out. And we, as older adults and older young people, can benefit from preparation. Because when we are not prepared to deal with our future, then we begin to see what we're seeing in the streets of Birmingham and all over the United States, where people would mob a mall for a pair of Jordans. See, this is an account that's coming back on us as those who are preparing a future generation. So now we have to be prepared and make sure that we assure them that they are the best. Make sure that we assure them that they are of the righteous. Make sure that we are assuring them that they are safe in their undertaking, that they are safe in their endeavor, that they are safe and to move out and to begin to think outside of the box. See, our young people are brilliant. But sometimes the old people's mentality, the older people's mentality, holds them back and stifles them from their growth. I remember a few years ago we had an election right here in Birmingham, and it hurt my heart to see a 70-year-old man running against a 34-year-old man. An opportunity to bridge the gap, and now we see competition because we have not prepared our generations for the future. And lastly, dear brothers and sisters, self-validation. Don't allow people to say that you're who you are because of what you're wearing, what you're driving, what you're living. Your content and your character should be enough to make your Jordans look better. Because my grandmother used to tell me all the time, baby, you can put a gorilla in a tuxedo. And what do you have? You have a gorilla in a tuxedo. But if you don't teach that gorilla culture, if you don't teach that human that you're dealing with responsibility, if you don't teach them, first of all, love, and how to love himself in spite even of himself. Because sometimes we can be our hardest critic. We see every fault, we see everything that's wrong, but what we don't see is what God has created us in the right mind. So as we're moving toward self-determination, let us be determined now that right where we're standing, right where we are, we're going to do our part. Because see, self-determination is not having an African name in a crazy line. See, self-determination is not having a mindset of being able to go through and recite all of the lectures and all of the artists and all of the poets and all of the authors and not be able to change your community by changing first your thing. See, the basis for the community development is self-improvement. We've been given principles. None of the principles can coexist without the other principles. None of the principles can surpass any other premise that we're dealing with unless all of the principles are intact. So not only is it teaching us self-determination, it is now teaching us balance. It is now teaching us patience, because you may have more unity than you do self-determination. Now, it's on the point now that the brother who has more self-determination teach you how to be more self-determined. See, we can't see ourselves as islands. We have to see ourselves linked one to the other. My dear brothers and sisters, as we are celebrating Kwanzaa. Let us take it to heart. Let us take this celebration like none other. Let us begin in 2011 that when we begin to celebrate in 2012, you will see the community has benefited from a spirit of self-determination. Dear brothers and sisters, I wish you all a pleasant and peaceful evening. How about that?